welcome back to the PNN. My name is Parker Taft. I thought that since, as part of this 30-day challenge, I'm to help you, but also to inspire you, I thought I would start taking these Mondays to tell you an inspirational speech, story, character profile, or quote that I find particularly inspirational and to help motivate you to further success. So today, I'm going to be reading you the funeral oration by Pericles. Pericles was the leader of Athens during the early part of the Peloponnesian War, one of the most destructive conflicts in the ancient world. It pitted Athens against Sparta, and it divided the entire Greek world. You were either in the Athenian camp or you were in the Spartan camp. There were very few city-states that managed to remain neutral throughout the entire conflict, and it thoroughly weakened the Greek society, preventing them from being able to oppose the eventual domination of the Macedonians under Alexander the Great's father, and laying the groundwork for Alexander the Great's expedition to the east. During this time period, we also see a great many of the thinkers, artists that we come to attribute with the ancient Greek world. Herodotus, Socrates, Aristotle, and among many others. You also see great generals, such as the Spartan general Brasidas, and the Athenian trader Alcibiades. Basically, the Athenian Golden Age, the latter half of the Athenian Golden Age, corresponds with the beginning half of the Peloponnesian War. And so, really, our modern Western civilization is based off of what happened during that war and the deciding factors in it, as well as the men who were around during that time period. So it is a very important time period in global history. Pericles was the leader of Athens at the time, and he was asked to speak at the funeral of Athenian soldiers after they had come back and been cremated. And he made this address to the Athenian people, both to inspire them to continue on, but also to memorialize those who had sacrificed. Think of it as sort of a Greek version of the Gettysburg Address. So, here it goes. Indeed, if I have dwelt at some length upon the character of our country, it has been to show that our stake in the struggle is not the same as theirs who have no such blessing to lose, and also that the panegyric of the men over whom I am now speaking might be by definite proofs established. The panegyric is now in great measure complete, for the Athens that I have celebrated is only that what the heroism of these and their like have made it. Men whose fame, unlike that of most of Hellenes, will be found to be only commensurate with their deserts, and if a test of worth be wanted, it is to be found in their closing scene. And this is not only in cases in which it has set the final seal upon their merit, but also in those in which it gave the first intimidation of their having any. For there is justice in the claim that steadfastness in his country's battles should be as a cloak, to cover a man's other imperfections, since the good action has blotted out the bad. And his merit as a citizen more than outweighed his demerits as an individual. But none of these allowed either wealth with its prospects of future enjoyment to unnerve his spirit, or poverty with its hope of a day of freedom, and riches to tempt him to shrink from danger. No holding that vengeance upon their enemies was more to be desired than any personal blessings, and reckoning this to be the most glorious of hazards, they joyfully determined to accept the risk, to make sure of their vengeance, and to let their wishes wait and while, committing to hope that uncertainty of final success in the business before them. They thought fit to act boldly and trust in themselves, thus choosing to die resisting rather than to live submitting. They fled only from dishonor, but met danger face to face, and after only one brief moment, while at the summit of their fortune, escaped not from their fear, but from their glory. So died these men as became Athenians. You, their survivors, must determine to have as unaltering a resolution in the field, though you may pray that it may have a happier issue, and not contented with the ideas derived only from words of the advantages which are bound up with the defense of your country, though these would furnish a valuable text to a speaker, even before an audience so alive to them as the present. You must yourselves realize the power of Athens, and feed your eyes upon her from day to day, till love of her fills your heart, and then with all her greatness shall break upon you. You must reflect that it was by courage, sense of duty, and and a keen feeling of honor and action, that men were enabled to win all this, and that no personal failure in an enterprise could make them consent to deprive their country of their valor. But they laid it at her feet as the most glorious contribution that they could offer. For this offering of their lives, made in common by them, all they each of them individually received that renown which never grows old, and for a sepulchre not so much that in which their bones has been deposited, but that noblest of shrines, wherein their glory is laid up to be eternally remembered upon every occasion on which deed or story shall call for its commemoration. For heroes have the whole earth for their tomb, and in lands far from their own, where the column with its epitaph declares it, there is enshrined in every breast a record unwritten, with no tablet to preserve it, except that of the heart. These take as your model, and judging happiness to be the fruit of freedom, and freedom of valor never to decline the dangers of war, for it is not the miserable that would mostly just be unsparing for their lives. These have nothing to hope for. It is rather they to whom continue life may bring reserves as yet unknown, and to whom a fall, if it came, would be most tremendous in its consequence. And surely to a man of spirit, the degradation of cowardice must be immeasurably more grievous than the unfelt death which strikes him in the midst of his strength and patriotism. Comfort, therefore, not condolence, is what I have to offer. To the parents of the dead who may be here, numberless are the chances to which, as they know, the life of man is subject, but fortunate indeed are they who draw for their lot a death so glorious as that which has caused your mourning, and to whom life has been so exactly measured as to terminate in the happiness in which it has been passed. Still, I know that this is a hard saying, especially when those are in question of whom you will constantly be reminded by seeing in the homes of others blessings of which you also once boasted. For grief is felt not so much for the want of what we have never known, as for the loss of that which we have long been accustomed to. Yet you, who are still of age to beget children, must bear up in the hope of having others in their stead. Not only will they help you to forget those whom you have lost, but will be to the state at once a reinforcement and a security. For never can a fair or just policy be expected of the citizen who does not follow, like his fellows, bring to the decision the interests and apprehensions of a father. While those of you who have passed your prime must congratulate yourselves with the thought that the best part of your life was fortunate, and that the brief span that remains will be cheered by the fame of the departed, for it is only the love of honor that never grows old. Honor it is, not gain as some would have it, that rejoices the heart of age and helplessness. So that was the funeral oration by Pericles. While it talks a lot about war and sacrifice, I think we can take an inspirational message from it. That no matter what we do, no matter what failings we have, we can still succeed. And that serving a higher purpose is something that we should all strive towards. Specifically, serving humanity as a whole. Whether it's helping people, tutoring, teaching, providing a valuable service, or serving your country in the form of government or the armed forces. You can serve humanity in multiple ways, but you should not let your gifts be idly wasted. Instead, you should use it to uplift humanity. I hope this inspires you today, as I found it inspirational when I first read it. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I wish you the best of the week. Continue forward on your 30-day challenges. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below on how I can improve my videos and topics I should also cover in this series. And if you wish to contribute, feel free to contact me in the comment section, and I will be more than willing to listen to what you all have to offer. As always, this is the PNN signing off.